Yeah, when you've quite finished.
Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. I'm joined by the lovely Matthew Holdsworth. Hello, Matthew.
Hi, Richard.
And we seem to be standing in a sand quarry, an old one.
Yes.
Has to be said.
Yep.
This is, for those who've been following us, our third of this little micro mini-series, following the Greensand Way. We're in Surrey. Whereabouts in Surrey are we?
We are nearly at Westcott, which is west of Dorking.
Yes.
So we've come from Wotton, and we're now moving our way towards Westcott, the village there. So we're getting slowly through it.
We're getting slowly through it. We're following the Greensand Way. There are 3 previous videos, so do check those out. But we have decided to start this one because, I'm going to come up here because you get to see a little bit of what the green sand, although of course it's not actually green, and we were debating that, why is it called green? But it may be it's down to that it just gets covered in a mossy green
if you
covering.
look at the straight ahead here, that looks pretty green.
Yes, that's right. And of course, unless you're actually mining it, or quarrying it rather, it's not going to be exposed anyway, so it would look green.
Sort of moss, lichen, algae, whatever on it, and that will rub away quite quickly underneath to show the yellower.
Yellower stuff.
Bits.
And this is a huge belt of green sand that we are endeavouring to follow.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our aim is to get to
Westcott.
Westcott.
In this video, yes.
Yes, and to the church there.
Certainly not to Ham Street today.
No. So, I'm going to come back down this. So this is obviously an old quarry. It's right next to the road. I don't know if you can hear that. And presumably at some point, horses, carts, whatever, were carting this stuff away for building, I guess.
I think building, yeah. I think largely it was used for building to start with, and then other stuff that you can use sand for making cement and what have you then later on.
We're very lucky. I know I said this before in the previous video, but we're very lucky with the different geological, what do you call them, belts, strands?
Yeah, formations.
Formations, that we have all this different type of building material, which really makes a huge difference on the landscape.
Yes, well this is the anticline, which I probably told you before there. You've got the North Downs at the north, the South Downs at the south. Different rock formations used to form a great big dome.
Oh yes.
And then they got exposed away, leading the downs, and then you've got the high weald at the top.
We've got a fork here.
We have
I think
a
they're
fork
both
in the road.
more or less the same.
We'll go this way.
Yes, it's less of a climb. So these hills, they stretch, the Surrey hills, they stretch quite a distance, don't they? Oh, wait a minute, we're in a gully here, but I think we may be that we've got to be up the top.
I think we need to move back onto that one.
After you.
Yeah, so there's an area of outstanding natural beauty that runs really sort of Hazelmere, so you've got like Hindhead,
yeah,
Hog's Back and all that sort of thing.
Oh yes.
And then that goes right through the county of Surrey into Kent. So it's sometimes very narrow. Around Reigate it's very narrow. Around here it's pretty wide. But this is a very fine tree here.
Look at this. This is amazing. I don't know why I'm out of breath. It's not really much. We climbed up not really very far. Look at that. That is the way it reaches out instead of going upright. That is just quite incredible.
It hasn't really got a trunk.
No, it's an oak, I think, isn't it?
Looks like a good one for climbing.
Definitely a good one for kids. Or big kids.
Or big kids,
We haven't got time for that,
No,
Matthew.
no.
We have to find a church.
Yes, which I think is that way.
Matthew, we have we've come through the woods and we've passed some rather beautiful, picturesque houses. Some new, admittedly, but they look reasonable.
Yep.
And some
very old.
a beautiful old sort of manor. This just, again, it's tucked out of the way.
It is. We're just up here on the heath. You can see we've got the gorse here, which obviously is a heathland
Yes.
plant, which obviously is just flowering.
And then in front of us, we have the graveyard.
Yes.
But so where's the church? Presumably up that lane on our right.
I think so. I think if we continue to follow the footpath up here and up the road,
we should find it.
we should find it. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Up the path.
Just down this lane. And interesting that the church is not on the top of the hill.
Yes.
It's on the side of a hill.
My guess is because it's a Victorian church, so it didn't have a historic background to it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, right. That's interesting. Look at that spire. Yes, I
I
think
think
you can see that.
it was built by Sir George, designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott, who was one of the famous Victorian church architects. And you can see all this this napped flint work
Yes.
here. And it was actually because Westcott didn't have a church of its own until the 1850s when this one was built.
Oh, right.
So they all you'd have to go to the church at Wotton,
Ah,
which is
right.
actually, a good 20-25 minute walk away.
Yes, yes, gosh. People didn't want to do that after a while.
No,
Especially in the Victorian period.
no,
So instead, they built their own church.
they certainly did.
And here it is. Well, we've got the Lich Gate in front of us, which I assume leads down into the village.
That leads down into the village there.
It's an interesting church. I don't ordinarily like Victorian churches. They're all a bit, I suppose, because I'm very much a traditionalist. But getting on the springy turf here, yeah, this is Sir Norman George Touchet, Baronet,
Yeah,
behind you.
touché.
But here is, what did you say it was? Holy Trinity?
Holy Trinity, yes. They said they designed it in a 14th century style. I mean, it does look. I mean, it could. I can tell it's a Victorian church just by
Yes,
looking at it.
yes.
But you can see that they did.
If you didn't know any better,
Yeah.
you would make the wrong assumption. And I guess that's, the Victorians were very, very much into that, into their retrospective historic
Yes.
touches, weren't they?
It's to do with the High Church, the Anglican High Church movement, when so the Anglo-Catholics. When they harked back, if you like, to that time before sort of Puritanism,
Right.
and they went sort of the more sort of Anglo-Catholic type of thing. It's the Oxford movement, I think.
There are these old chunks of sandstone here, which is quite nice. I wonder what they mean or reference, or whether it's just part of the outcrop of rock.
You can see
Right, let's go and have a look inside, shall we?
that. I think we should.
Well, I don't know if we can. Maybe we can just walk round this.
I think so.
Side of it.
Some damage.
Oh golly, yeah. So this is one of the problems, isn't it,
It
with the
is.
church? It's only 160 years old, is it?
160 years. Yep.
And because it's this, here, look, you can see here that some of the sand is very loose.
That's a new one, or newer one, some new stones, and this here is very crumbly.
Very crumbly, and although it's local stone and it's sandstone and apparently very easy to put up in blocks, but it doesn't weather very well.
No, you can see where the repairs have been done
Yes.
in suitable replacement.
And it must be a constant job.
It is, I think, yes. We had certainly the church I go to is built of similar stuff, and similar issues have occurred.
Ah, yes. Through these rather beautiful grave stones, which it's quite interesting to go up through a graveyard that's on a hill.
Yeah.
You don't get many of those. I mean, you get the church usually planted at the top of the hill, although you do get them.
Mm.
And then there's a view down here. If I turn the camera around, you get this rather lovely view of some of the village.
And across over onto the North Downs there, you see there's a patch, so there's right on top of the hill there. It's called Denby's Hillside, which is a National Trust place. There's a lovely car park up there and more walks, and then that's all Ranmore Common.
Well, we've had an interesting walk today.
We certainly have.
Thank you so much, Matthew. It's
No
been
problem.
absolutely brilliant. We have lots more of the Greensand Way to walk. Where
yes.
will we be going next?
Well, from here,
yeah.
if we were to start from here next, I think we would go over the Nower, which is
An hour.
yes, which is a sort of a hill ridge, another sandstone ridge, has a temple on top.
Oh right.
I know it's given to the people of Dorking and Westcott.
How old is the temple?
It's one of those sort of like late 19th century type things there. I think actually it's also the midpoint of the Greensand Way. It's 55 miles to Ham Street, 55 miles to Hazelmere.
Oh right.
At that point, I think.
Sadly, we didn't start at Hazelmere. We've sort of got that to do at another juncture.
Yeah, in about 5 years' time, the rate we're going, I think.
Yeah, it is a slow series, but yeah. So that's something to look forward to. As we said before, it's a sort of an occasional mini series where we just duck out and go and do it. But we've been lucky with the weather. It can only get better. We've
Yep.
seen sights of spring. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much, Matthew.
No problem. Well, thank you very much as well. It's been good fun.
And do tune in again wherever I happen to be. In the meantime, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, all the usual.
Become a patron.
Yes, become a patron at
Definitely.
baldexplorer.com. Help us get out and do these things, and we'll see you on the next one. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Now, we left the car several miles away.
We have. It's going to be a long walk. Up a hill.
I'll get on your back.
Yeah. Come on then. Let's go.